Councillors, can I have your attention, please? I welcome you all to this meeting of the Cardinia Shire Council. This meeting commenced earlier in the day to consider a confidential matter and was adjourned, and I now reconvene the meeting. This meeting will be conducted in accordance with the Council's governance rules. It is important that members of the public present in the gallery respect the setting and do not disrupt the meeting, particularly during debate and discussion by councillors on items in the agenda, and in particular, do not interject during the debate. We will commence the meeting with the following reflection. I would ask those gathered to join us now for a few moments of silence as we reflect on our roles in this chamber. Please use this opportunity for reflection, prayer or thought to focus on our shared intention to work respectfully together for the well-being of our whole community. Thank you. The Cardinia Shire Council respectfully acknowledges that we are on the traditional land of the Boonwurrung and Wurundjeri people and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We have received a couple of apologies today from Councillor Jeff Springfield and Councillor Stephanie Davies for tonight's meeting. Can I have a motion, please, to adopt the minutes of the previous meetings as listed? I have a mover, Councillor Moore, and a seconder, Councillor Ryan. Thank you. All those in favour? I declare that unanimously, oh, that was a tricky word, unanimously carried. Any councillors with declarations of interest tonight? I see none. The items on today's agenda are as follows. Item 6.1.1, Amendment C273, Infrastructure Contributions Plan for Pakenham South Employment PSP. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Cameron, are you moving the officer's recommendation?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I move the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. May I ask for a seconder, please? Councillor Moore. I'll go to the mover to see if you'd like to say anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I recommend that Council adopt the Pakenham South Employment Infrastructure Contribution Plan for the Pakenham South Employment Precinct Structure Plan. Authorise officers to submit the Amendment C273 to the Minister for Planning in accordance with Section 20 subsection A of the Planning and Environment Act 1987 prescribed amendment. Authorise officers to finalise the amendment documentation in accordance with Council's resolution, including any administrative or formatting changes to the amendment documentation and mapping required to give the effect to Council's resolution. And finally, authorise officers to advise the landowners of the Pakenham South Employment PSP area of the Council resolution. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. I'll go to the seconder, Councillor Moore, to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll second this because I'm very supportive of this particular amendment, but I have nothing further to say. Councillor Cameron has covered most of the item. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to the mover to sum up, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing further to add.
Thank you. We'll now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried. Item 6.2.1, Disbandment of Cardinia Public Hall Community Asset Committee. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Cameron, are you moving the officer's recommendation?
I am moving the officer's recommendation. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Can I please ask for a seconder? Councillor Ross, thank you. I'll go to the mover to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I've actually got nothing further to add.
Thank you. I'll go to the seconder, Councillor Ross, please.
Nothing further, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Any councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none. Would the mover like to speak any further?
Thank you, Mayor. The Cardinia Public Hall Community Asset Committee was appointed by Council on July 2020 and had the duty to provide a public community centre for the hire of individuals and organisations for the benefit of the Cardinia Shire. At the meeting on the 16th of February 2023, officers met with the committee members to discuss the future management of the hall, and the committee elected to hold a special committee meeting to garner interest from the community members to join the committee, and there was no interest at this meeting, and it was determined that a committee could not be formed. The committee would resign and hand management back to the Cardinia Public Hall to Council. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. We'll now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Got it out that time. Item 6.2.2, Emerald Lake Precinct Master Plan Endorsement. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Owen.
Thanks, Mayor. I move the following. The Council notes the program of community engagement undertaken, feedback received, and subsequent changes made to the Emerald Lake Precinct Master Plan, endorses the final Emerald Lake Precinct Master Plan, provides the final master plan to the community on its website, and thanks the community for its feedback. And finally, notes the detailed design of stage 1 of the master plan is proposed to commence in the 23-24 financial year, subject to council endorsement in June of the 2023 of its annual budget. I'll move so.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. Can I please ask for a seconder? Councillor Moore. Thank you. I'll go to Councillor Owen to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Moore. So just a bit of background. Historically, Emerald Lake Precinct, ELP, has been considered a regional park and a tourist attraction. It has always attracted international and domestic visitors, with Puffing Billy, one of Victoria's major tourist attractions, located in the park. The regional status of ELP is validated in the 2020 ELP Strategic Plan and the 2018 Open Space Management Framework and Council's draft Open Space Strategy. But coming to this item tonight, the draft Emerald Lake Precinct ELP Master Plan was presented to councillors in June 2022 prior to community engagement. Community consultation was undertaken over an 8-week period from 4th of July to the 25th of August. The draft master plan was well received, with over 3,000 views and over 428 contributions from 333 contributors through the Creating Cardinia online portal. So very significant community feedback. So this feedback was received regarding the play space, including the water play area, as per the draft master plan, removing the wading pool and replacing it with a zero depth water play remains as preferred option by the community. However, further investigation will take place as part of the detailed design phase to explore how the water play experience can meet community expectations. So many actions identified in the master plan are focused on the asset renewal, followed by the upgrades to meet the precinct's regional status without compromising its character. So actions have been prioritised as low, medium and high based on community identified priorities. So some of the areas where feedback was received and some changes to the master plan has been made. And these key areas are the play space, including the zero depth water play, also the amphitheatres, regarding the toilets and change rooms, also food retail in the park, Nobilius Heritage Park, and finally the Western Forest Zone. So this report outlines those changes to the master plan. So then I'll now refer to other councillors who wish to speak on this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. I'll now go to the seconder, Councillor Moore, please, to speak.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Owen, for withdrawing this item. It's a really special item, this with the Lake Emerald Lake Precinct Master Plan. I mean, it's been around for a long time, and with ageing infrastructure of this park, it's one of our gems in Cardinia Shire. You've got to go to the park where Puffing Billy finishes. I know that the big event up there is the Puffing Billy race up there, which is a fantastic event. So there's a lot to be done to bring it up to the wonderful standard that it once used to be. And I want to thank Councillor Owen, not being the ward councillor for that area, but having the experience of knowing that lake and knowing that area very well. That he's covered most of the items in there and covered it very well, as I always expect. So well done, Councillor Owen. And I've got nothing further to say, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see Councillor Ross, please.
Thank you, Mayor. All councillors were invited with the master plan for different times to go up and visit the place. I went up and had a tour with some of our staff. It is an absolute gem of a place, but it does look a bit tired. It's well attended by the community who come a long way, some people, to use that space. As people can see, it's a draft master plan. There's been a lot of contribution from the community giving suggestions about where they think it can be improved. In the beginning, it looked like the cost to upgrade it would be about $13.9 million. They sort of worked and had a closer look to get it more accurate, and I think it was $12.13 million. So what we've done in the master plan is we've set about looking at the priorities that would need to be done. We're looking at stage 1, and as money would become available, either through council budget or through grants or government intervention, we will look at other stages being done. But it is an amazing place up there. It is a real treasure in our Shire, and I just encourage people to go and have a look, because they'll see as it gets the tired infrastructure that's there gets upgraded, it will even be more people friendly, and more people will probably want to visit it. So anyway, I support this. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to the mover. Councillor Owen, please, to sum up.
Thanks, Mayor. Thank you to the 2 councillors who spoke to this item. So I want to thank everyone who provided feedback to this process. Particularly, I want to acknowledge the Friends of ELP and also the committee at Nobelius Park and Emerald Museum. They do an amazing job. As said before, this is a jewel, one of the jewels in the crown of Cardinia Shire. It has many international tourists, as well as obviously our own Cardinia community attends this great asset of a park and precinct. So community consultation for the draft Emerald Lake Precinct Master Plan was detailed and targeted a wide range of community groups. It was well received and supported by the community. The infrastructure at Emerald Lake Precinct is ageing, as said previously, and requires an endorsed master plan to guide future renewal and upgrade of assets, improving accessibility, safety, usability and overall amenity of this significant open space. The estimated cost to deliver the master plan is $12.13 million. A staged approach has been adopted, with stage 1 seeing the delivery of high priority actions as determined by the community, and to ensure ageing infrastructure is upgraded in a logical manner and is consideration of the impact of the community. Stage 1 will see the implementation of the priority actions identified in the Cafe Zone, Lake Tregonoan Zone and the Nobelius Heritage Park Zone. Subject to endorsement of the Emerald Lake Precinct Master Plan, the project will move into a detailed design for stage 1. Through this process, more detailed cost estimates for each of the key elements will be developed. This information will then inform the preparation of future council budgets and external funding applications, so it will be considered in future budgets. As a tourist attraction and regional park, Emerald Lake Precinct is an excellent candidate for grant funding from various streams, obviously other governments, state and federal. An endorsed master plan will ensure that the age and infrastructure at Emerald Lake Precinct is proactively replaced to a modern regional park standard in a logical order that supports the community's identified priorities for this project. So I move so. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. We will now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Item 6.3.1, Complaints Policy Review, Draft Document for Adoption, please. Can I have a mover? Councillor Kowalczyk.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the officer's recommendations.
Thank you. Can I please ask for a seconder? Councillor Ross. I'll go to the mover to speak first. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Ross. A review of our current complaints policy, which was adopted in November 2021, has been recently undertaken. This review was conducted to identify any improvements that could be made to how complaints are managed within the organisation, and included a review of the latest version of the Ombudsman's guidelines for councils. 2 changes are being put forward for adoption tonight based on the officer's recommendations, and they're very minor changes at that. There's some changes to the text in section 4 of the complaints policy to provide clarity on how customer complaints are managed and to improve efficiency in resolving complaints. And there's an amendment to the length of time council takes to respond to a complaint from 25 to 20 business days, as the Ombudsman's guideline recommends 30 calendar days. So there's just an alignment there between calendar days and business days. So nothing too controversial. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kowaczyk. I'll now go to the seconder, Councillor Ross, to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. I think Councillor Kowalczyk's covered all the variations in detail. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to the mover. Councillor Kowaczyk, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Ross. The proposed amendments to the complaints policy are aimed to provide clarity on how complaints are managed, to improve efficiencies and reduce time in resolving those complaints. The changes also ensure compliance and alignment with the Local Government Act 2020 and the Ombudsman's complaint management guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Item 6.4.1, variation of contract 21-032, environmental health shared service. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Kowaczyk.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Can I please ask for a seconder? Councillor Ryan. Thank you. I'll go to the mover, please, to speak first.
Thank you, Mayor. In December 2021, Council resolved to award the tender and enter a shared service contract with Bass Coast Shire Council and Casey City Council to use a common provider of Curnow Environmental Services Proprietary Limited for the above mentioned contract. This was established through a previous collaborative procurement tender process in June 21, where Curnow was selected as the preferred tenderer. The total contract is for an initial period of 3 years with an option to extend 2 and a further 2 years. The current contract expiry date is the 30th of June 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. I now go to our seconder, Councillor Ryan, to speak, please.
I have nothing to add to that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to the mover, Councillor Kowaczyk. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Ryan, for seconding. Due to a range of factors impacting contract costs, the third-year price of the contract is recommended to be increased. The proposed increase represents a negotiated figure following detailed analysis of the variation proposal and is relatively modest because the cost increase is spread across 3 member councils. So just want to congratulate our staff on doing that, their due diligence work and decreasing the cost as much as possible. But yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. We'll now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Item 6.4.2, 23-016 Kurirup Bowling Club Modular Build Construction. Can I ask for a mover, please? Councillor Cameron, are you moving the officer's recommendation?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'll move the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Can I please ask for a seconder? Councillor Ryan. Thank you. I'll go to the mover, please, to speak first.
Thank you, Mayor. I ask that one, note the tender process for the traditional construction of the Kurirup Bowls Club 22-059 has been abandoned due to the higher than expected tender prices. 2, in the exercise of the power conferred by Section 11, subsection 1 of the Local Government Act 2020, Council delegates to the Chief Executive Officer the authority to seek tenders for a modular construction for the Kurirup Bowls Club and to enter a contract arising from such tender up to a maximum value of $4.6 million, excluding GST. 3, if the Chief Executive Officer exercises the delegation in accordance with Resolution 2, the Chief Executive Officer is requested to report Council on the outcome of the tender and subsequent contract entered at the earliest available opportunity after it is entered.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. I'll now go to our seconder, Councillor Ryan, to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. I am in support of the officer's recommendation on this. Just a bit of background. The existing Kurirup Bowling Club building is to be replaced to provide improved functionality, accessibility, and long-term visibility of the facility. The current facility does not meet council facility standards. There's a lot of facilities here. The new building provides the following functionality: change rooms, accessible toilets, lounge area, a kitchen, bar servery, a bistro, community rooms with breakout areas and kitchenette, new car park facilities and a covered walkway. I think that's enough for me to cover. I think that just gives you a little bit of a background on it, on the information. And as I said, I'm in support of the officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Are there any other councillors? Councillor Kovacic, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillors Cameron and Ryan. Just briefly, I just want to thank the committee for working with Council, getting this project to the stage it's at today. Councillor Moore and I met with them briefly in the past, and they expressed how eager they were to get on with this. And although we're still in the very, very early stages here, I'm looking forward to seeing this project begin. So well done, Councillor Cameron. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I see Councillor Ross. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to put this in context a little bit, this is one of the first groups that will have a modular build inside the Shire. And with a modular build, there's some distinct benefits, particularly in a time when individual builds or individual designs prices are going through the roof. So therefore, the bang for your buck just isn't there anymore that people used to be able to get by doing individual things. By doing this, there will be a significant cost saving, but more importantly, working with inside a budget of $4.6 million. You'll get more size for your money versus the old way, which we would have to spend money on having an individual design. This way, they can pretty much look at it in a modular sense. So the group will get much larger facilities for their money in most cases, and it will be affordable. And also, it's to be noted, in this, there is an urgency around getting this done, because through the Building Better Regions funding, there's $1.647 million out of the 4.6 million. So council, that's money council doesn't have to spend on the upgrade. And there's a deadline on the completion of the structure, the completion of the construction being December 2023. So they're going to have to get their wheels on, get the tenders in and get it underway pretty quick. Otherwise, there could be a risk of losing the $1.647 million, which we just don't want, because ratepayers just can't afford to find that money. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to the mover. Councillor Cameron, please.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to my other councillors for talking on this topic. Council officers have sought tenders for the traditional construction of the Cooyarrup Bowls Club on 2 occasions, with both attempts abandoned due to higher than expected tender prices, which is a result of the ongoing pressures within the construction industry. With consideration to the current position on the construction industry, several councils are turning towards modular construction as a viable and attractive alternative for the construction of community facilities. In conclusion, the Building Better Regions funding grant for this project requires Council to deliver the Cooyarrup Bowls facility by December 2023. Otherwise, the Council, as Councillor Ross said, will not receive the federal funding of $1.647 million. Noting that there is a tight time frame for the delivery of this project of around 7 months, in order to continue to retain the Building Better Regions funding, it is recommended that Council delegate to the CEO the authority to seek tenders for a modular construction of the Cooyarrup Bowls Club and to accept a contract for this construction up to a maximum of $4.6 million. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. We will now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 6.4.3, cleaning and internal waste contract extension. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Ross. Are you moving the officer's recommendation?
I'll move the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Can I please ask for a seconder? Councillor Kowaczyk. I'll go to the mover to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, recommendation is that Council approves the proposed contract option term extension for a period of the 17th of July 2023 to December, the 22nd of December 2023 for the cleaning and internal waste contract 1803 with the Pickwick Group. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I'll go to a seconder. Councillor Kowaczyk, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing further to add.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to the mover to sum up, please.
Basically just, Mayor, that this is an extension for a little bit longer time before we would put it out for tender again. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. We will put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Item 6.4.4, Contract Award End User Computer Equipment Lease. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Cameron, are you moving the officer's recommendation?
I am moving the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Can I please call for a seconder? Councillor Moore, thank you. I'll go back to the mover to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I recommend that the council, that the pricing submitted by HP PPS Australia Proprietary Limited for a 3-year period for the lease of 481 end-use computers for a cost of $1,010,214 be accepted for CT 23-014 end user computer equipment lease.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. I'll go to our seconder, Councillor Moore, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to the mover to sum up, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Moore. Council currently leases laptops for staff to use in the course of delivering council services. The current lease agreement expires on the 30th of September 2023 and a refresh of the laptop fleet is required. Council staff have identified that utilisation of the state government contract end user computer equipment lease panel provides the most advantageous result for councillor requirements. In conclusion, it is recommended that HP PPS Australia Proprietary Limited are approved to provide a lease for 481 items over the course of 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. We'll now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Item 6.4.5, Quarterly Financial Report. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Kowaczyk.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Can I please call for a seconder? Councillor Ross. I will go to the mover to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Radford. Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillors in the community will be familiar with this report, given it comes up every quarter. As per the Local Government Act 2020, Council is required to receive and note quarterly financial reports when they are prepared. This iteration covers the period from the 1st of July 2022 to the 31st of March. 1st of July 2023 to 31st of March 2023. In addition to financial performance, the report covers capital works expenditure, income statement and balance sheet glossary. The analysis undertaken as part of the financial performance and capital works reports is based on the difference between the 22-23 budget adopted in June 22 and the actual results year to date as at 31st of March 23. People may not be aware, Council currently has our draft budget out for next financial year, and so please, if you are interested, I'd encourage anyone and everyone in Cardinia Shire to have their voice heard and be part of that budget engagement. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kowaczyk. I'll now go to a seconder, Councillor Ross, please.
Nothing further, thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to the mover, please.
Thank you. It is appropriate that Council receives and notes the quarterly financial report for the period 1 July 22 to 31st March 23 and notes the CEO, as required under Section 97.3 of the Local Government Act, is of the opinion a revised budget is not required.
Thank you. We'll now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Item 6.5.1 Environment Council Plan Initiatives Quarterly Report. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Owen.
Thanks, Mayor. I move that this report be noted.
Thank you. Can I please call for a seconder? Councillor Kowalczyk. I'll go to the mover. Councillor Owen, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Kowalczyk. So this quarterly report provides an update on projects, services and actions that are undertaken by Council to deliver on the Council Plan Focus Area number 3, Thriving Environments and its associated initiatives. So there is a broad range of projects, services and actions delivering environmental benefits throughout this organisation. While many of these occur within or are led by the Environment and Infrastructure Group, most of the organisation is involved in environmental sustainability to some degree. So Council Plan initiatives and how they link to the sustainable environmental policy themes of biodiversity, climate change, water and waste and resource recovery. So this report, as I said, is a quarterly report and it's a great sort of snapshot of the work in this area. And I'm sure my colleagues will talk about some of the others, but I want to focus on the street light upgrade. So this project is mercury vapour street lighting upgrade. So this project is jointly funded by Council, AusNet Services and the Australian Government through the Local Roads and Community Infrastructure Program. Energy efficiency certificates are also being generated and sold to fund the works. So the first stage, which involves the upgrade of 845 street lights with energy efficient LEDs, is complete. AusNet Services funding has been received to support the works and funding from energy efficiency certificates is being obtained. So the replacement light for the next stage of works has been approved by AusNet Services and planning is underway for the additional upgrade. So this is a big program, as we said. Over 845 street lights has been changed over already in stage 1. So I look forward to this program continuing to roll out because it is making a difference, obviously, on our impact on the environment and also just improved lighting in our streets. And that's another great outcome of this program. So also waste and resource recovery. During the Christmas period, we had a cardboard drop-off. Which was held at the Future Recycling Transfer Station in Pakenham on between Wednesday the 28th and Friday the 30th of December last year. So this was the first time that residents could drop off, and we all know with Christmas we get large amounts of cardboard, and this is one way of, because I've tried cutting up these big cardboard boxes and jumping on my recycling bin to get it in, but it just doesn't always work. So it's good to have a place where you can go and deposit these for them to be recycled, and it's free of charge. So, and another good thing I want to talk about is Council's green waste drop-offs. We had an event in March. This 4-day event was held at the Future Recycling Transfer Station in Pakenham, and the stats involved in this with so many drop-offs was amazing. We continue to get increased patronage of this because I was really keen for Council to increase our green waste services, because when we reviewed our local law about local fires and our open burn policy, this was strong feedback from residents. They wanted increased opportunities to drop off their green waste instead of burning. So I'm really pleased that we continue that program, and we had one in March. I'll leave it there and I'll leave it up to my colleagues to speak. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. I'll go to the seconder, Councillor Kowalczyk, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Owen. We have great people and teams at Council, but our Environment and Heritage team is up there with the best. I think councillors noted midweek how visible they are in the community at our various festivals. I was with Councillor Owen at Upper Beak. We saw them there, Yakaboo, Pakenham Show. So I just wanted to thank them for that. Tonight, I'm going to focus on the very end of the report, an exciting section called What is Coming Up. And there's plenty coming up. If you're interested, there's kindergarten incursions, school incursions, green waste drop-off events on the way, as noted by Councillor Owen. There's Indigenous plant giveaways, Gardens for Wildlife workshops with the CEC. Note we have Tony from the CEC here tonight. We've got heritage grants open, energy information sessions for our Aging Well group. So there's a lot going on, and I encourage anyone in the community to download their environmental newsletter, Down to Earth. I've downloaded it, and it's very insightful. Even if you're inside council, sometimes you don't know all the various different things they're up to. So just a big shout out to our environment crew. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kowalczyk. I'll go to Councillor Ross, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for withdrawing this, Councillor Owen, and seconded it, Councillor Kowalczyk. There's a couple of things you left some gaps in there that we can speak about. I must say one of them that's been a scourge in the Shire of late and over the years has been dump rubbish. One of the initiatives through this was there was a hotspot in Wen Road, Rifdale, and it was just a favourite spot for people to dump rubbish. It was costing council over $1,000 a month to take away the cleanup. We installed some cameras down there on a trial basis, and they basically got a heap of footage of people who potentially were dropping it. But what they noticed was the decline in the amount of people who would go down there with the cameras to dump their rubbish once they realised there were cameras. So this was a highly successful trial that has taken place, and we've moved the cameras to other hotspots to try and deter people from dumping rubbish. And this initiative was funded through council's garbage charge through the money that we take in that. So I look forward to seeing how this goes, because it's really sad that we have to spend money doing this, but unfortunately, if that's what we've got to do, we've got to do it to try and make sure that we don't waste money cleaning up what people should be disposing of correctly. I must say, I just endorse Councillor Kowalczyk's comment that our team gets out there in the community. They in fact wear costumes now, so there's even one that wears a rubbish bin. And then I had my picture taken with the person in the rubbish bin, but amazingly enough, the person in the rubbish bin costume explains to everybody what you should do with your rubbish, and it actually does attract a lot of people to come over and have a chat with them, and kids and everyone have their picture taken with the rubbish bin. But we also do now, in a very good way, hand out a whole lot of little things to take with them that reminds them of like even cardboard cutouts that kids can make up of a rubbish truck. We hand out other things showing them where rubbish should go and what you should do with it, because the future generations will be the ones who with the new systems in place and the new bins and everything will have to do the separating themselves, and they'll teach their kids to do it. So the better they learn to do it, the better it all gets separated, the less cost on council to sending it to landfill, because it'll get dedicated towards recycling or in the right areas. So anyway, they're doing a really good job. I know they come to our information sessions for have a coffee with a cop. Our team goes out there as well, and they hand out information at that too. So anyway, I think they're doing a really good job getting the message out there. I look forward to seeing what they do in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. I'll now go to Councillor Moore, please.
Thank you, Mayor. On the back of Councillor Ross's comments about the Yakaboo Festival, where they had the staff there talking about the thing, and I did ask them that the rubbish bin that you so fondly talk about, Councillor Ross, I asked the staff there to have a competition to have the bin named. They could have the name of the bin, and it's ended up being Bindi, believe it or not. I know that sounds hard to believe, but I thought Bindi was very appropriate for the name of the rubbish bin mascot. Now, on to what I was going to say. The Mount Cannibal signage I was going to talk about. This is the start of the report, where it's fully funded by council. Of course, the Mount Cannibal reserve was badly affected by the 2019 Bunyip complex bushfires and burnt throughout the reserve, destroyed most of the infrastructure, including the signage. So it's really great to see the signage back up. New interpretive signage installed at the Flora and Fauna Reserve, which is really good to see, because in negotiating with the wonderful friends of Mount Cannibal, and we've got the mayoral volunteers night coming up on Thursday night, and they'll be there a few from that friends group, which would be really good to see them. So I think that's a really great initiative to have the signs back up and to make the visitors experience that just that little bit extra, where they can read the read the signs about the wildlife and the actual wildflowers that are up there that inundate the Mount Cannibal Reserve. So I encourage everybody to go there for a walk one day. It's a bit of a climb, but the steps are rather large, but it's a nice walk up Mount Cannibal. The other one is the thermal drone investigations for the bandicoots in Evans Road, Bunyip. We're going to develop the road along, it's going to be sealed in the future, and we have to do these programs and researches along these roads. So it just shows you the modern technology today that we can use to identify what's in the area and what we need to move and what's at risk, particularly with our local, particularly the southern brown bandicoot, which is very well respected in that Bunyip area, of course. So it's really great to see what they can do with the infrared drone surveys that they come down these roads. And I know recently they did the same thing along Bessie Creek Road, which is going to be developed as well. And they discovered there was a yellow-bellied glider in that area. And I think that's one of the things to discover, because it does affect on the vegetation removal of those areas, of what the native animals, what are there, and what we can do and what we can't do. So it's very significant. So it's all in the report, and it was fully funded by council to do these investigations. And I think it's well worth doing, because of the we're actually saving money to do it this way by trying, instead of doing it physically like we used to once upon a time. And I was on a door road today where they had they've done a similar X-raying of the roads as well, which is something that save our trees. Let's save our trees and let's save money for our ratepayers, and that's what both of these things are doing, twofold. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to the mover. Councillor Owen, please, to sum up.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to all councillors who spoke to this item. I really enjoyed listening to you all. Just following up from the thermal drone investigations as outlined by Councillor Moore, the use of these drone surveys demonstrates to the Department of Climate Change, Energy, Environment and Water that endangered species surveys can be done in a more effective way than the standard guidelines, and with a saving of approximately $25,000. And I know we've got similar drone surveys to be conducted in Huxville Road and also Mount Burnett Road. So that's really good. We're going down this path to save significant dollars for such surveys. So we note the report. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. We'll now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Item 6.5.2, Performance and Growth Reports, Quarter 3, 2022, yeah, that was right, to 2023. Can I please ask for a mover? Councillor Kowaczyk.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that council note the report.
Thank you. Can I please call for a seconder? Councillor Cameron, thank you. I'll go to the mover to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This report provides an update on council's performance and growth in the recent quarter. Obviously, from a councillor perspective, we've been working hard on getting a budget ready and reviewing that, and so have our senior leadership team, our CEO and our officers. Obviously, our infrastructure projects are still full steam ahead. We've been supporting our community, and of course, through yourself, Mayor, we've been advocating for Cardinia. So it certainly has been a busy period of time. And if anyone's interested, I'd encourage them to read the report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I now go to the seconder. Councillor Cameron, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Kowaczyk. I have nothing further to add.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to the mover, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Cameron. I move that council note the report. I hope my fellow councillors support this. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Item 6.5.3, Major Projects Report. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Owen.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the council note this report.
Thank you. Can I please call for a seconder? Councillor Kowaczyk, thank you. I'll go to the mover to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Kowaczyk. As part of reporting processes to council, this monthly report provides an update of the status of major projects in progress. This regular activity report, which is outlined in the agenda, is provided for councillors' information and, of course, the communities and residents' information as well. It is a really good snapshot. I wanted to talk about the Upper Beaconsfield Rec Reserve new pavilion. It's been in the media a bit lately and community sort of chatter, but I'm really pleased. This project, obviously the project description is the demolition of the Upper Beaconsfield Pavilion and reconstruction of a new community sporting and scouts facility. So this project continues to have a positively moving approach to it. A couple of weeks ago, myself and council officers and also members of the Upper Beak community visited a couple of sites in Maroondah City Council, modular pavilions, and it was a real positive sort of approach by the Upper Beaconsfield user groups, and they are quite receptive to modular. They are understanding of the financial climate that council is in and the state in general and the country, and they are very open to modular. So we continue to work on, concept designs. We had a meeting last Wednesday. It was a very positive meeting, and as outlined by Councillor Kowaczyk, we do have a draft budget, and in the draft budget over the next 3 budget cycles or budget years, there is almost $7.5 million attached to this project, and that includes money from the state, federal, and of course, large component from council. So that project is looking very positive, and it is moving forward, which I'm extremely happy about. Just wanted to talk about the 2022-23 footpath program. This involves construction of new footpaths and related works. I want to talk about the Fieldstone Boulevard in Beaconsfield. This footpath is really completing the final gap for Fieldstone Boulevard. That estate is probably close to 25 years old, and it is missing this section of footpath along Fieldstone Boulevard. It is a major connector road, and to complete this footpath is a really good outcome for residents of Beaconsfield. I have received very positive feedback regarding the contractor for the footpaths that the council has engaged. Residents have complimented the contractor, so I want to pass that on through our engineers. I understand there has been some feedback from residents that improved communication for the wider residents of Fieldstone, not just the residents that are going to have the footpath, new footpath on their side. It should be a more communication about all residents that could be impacted by this construction. So I pass that on to the engineers, and that has been taken on board. So I'll now allow other councillors to talk to this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. I'll now go to a seconder. Councillor Kowaczyk, please.
Thank you, Mayor Radford. Thank you, Councillor Owen, for withdrawing this item. Just obviously provides a wonderful opportunity for councils to share some insights and some updates on some projects that they may be passionate about, as evidenced by Councillor Owen, and well done, Councillor, for your work with the Upper Beaconsfield community and council in navigating a really tricky process up there. It looks like there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Just to highlight on that footpath program, I'm hoping that next year we can get some of those works into Pakenham. I note that there's some wonderful footpaths, as Councillor Owen mentioned, in Beaconsfield, in Lang Lang, in other beautiful parts of our Shire, but nothing in the biggest town in the Shire. So we'll see how we go next year. There's obviously an update there on Kui Rup, which we mentioned earlier as well, which is fantastic. And I believe there's an update that Councillor Moore might like to share regarding the Nanagoon resurfacing, but I'll leave it there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kowaczyk. I will now go to Councillor Ryan, please.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Always interesting to listen to each councillor from their wards and what's happening. It updates us and keeps us on track as well as councillors. I'd first like to say happy late Mother's Day to everyone that celebrated Mother's Day yesterday. Very important identity for all mothers within our community. Pakenham CBD on the 2nd and the 5th, I attended. It's the Pakenham CBD, Railway Precinct Safety Committee meeting.
Sorry, Councillor Ryan, we're on the major projects report.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm reading from. I do apologise, everyone. Thank you so much, Mayor. I was reading the top of my notes. Right. Yes. Okay. Pakenham Regional Tennis Centre. The project is expected to be completion of the third quarter of 2023. It's fully funded by council. The tender for construction has now closed. We have Pakenham McGregor Road and Henry Street intersection, upgrade of intersection to signalised intersection. It's funded, this project will be jointly funded by council, DCP funding and additional external funding yet to be secured. The timing of works will be linked to the rail removal by the LXRP, and the update, the intersection design is currently underway. The latest information from LXRP, rail removal project received and currently getting updated in the intersection design. So that's really great to see, because that intersection is quite a problem at the moment. And the lucky last is the Cardinia Youth Hub. Absolutely fantastic. It's running on schedule. The walls are going up very quickly. I go down there at least once, sometimes twice a week, to see how the project is going. This is a great extension of for our youth, and somewhere to go that will have better and stronger projects for our youth, and to include them in feeling that they belong in our community. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. I'll now go to Councillor Cameron, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to add a couple of things. Sporting pavilions, in particular Coralline Recreation Reserve, for the construction of new change rooms supporting infrastructure at Coralline Recreation Reserve. Council and the Victorian Government, through Community Sports Infrastructure Loan funding, will jointly fund this project. There's the Kuwiwut Bowls Club, which we spoke about earlier in the meeting. There's also the Bunyip Rec Reserve and soccer and cricket field redevelopment, with the construction of junior and senior soccer fields overlay, with cricket field, new LED 100 lux lighting, perimeter fencing and supporting infrastructure. Council and the Victorian Government jointly funded this project. Lighting installation works are being undertaken at the moment. And last but not least is the Nanagoon Recreation Reserve redevelopment. Council and the Victorian Government jointly funded this project. The work is complete and the oval works and the grounds are now open for use. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. I will go to Councillor Ross, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Looking at the IYU Recreational Reserve, the athletics track in particular, there's a 10-lane synthetic track that most people who drive past can see at the moment. It's got a really big car park. We're just waiting upon the infield grass to be established. Once that's established, we're hoping that'll happen before the next little athletics season, so therefore they won't have to spend money on the grass track and they'll be able to convert over to that track. So that's all we're waiting on there, and a few other things to be done. I've spoken to some different groups about this. They're all excited about it. Pakenham Little Athletics Club, the people who run Park Run. We've also got the Pakenham Road Runners are really rapt that they might be able to use it as well. And also Casey Masters Athletics Club, which their president of their club actually lives in Pakenham, and he goes over to Cranbourne. He's excited about it too, that he might be able to attract some people over here who want to compete in athletics. Because basically at the moment we struggle with getting all weather areas to go running or doing these sort of sports. And at the moment we have local schools, not only locally in the urban growth boundary, but also in the Shire and in West Gippsland, having to travel to do their athletics. Either that or they do it on grounds and they've just got to hope that it doesn't rain. But with this all-weather track, they can take their buses there, they can use the facility, and it will be exciting for even young, for locals who want to go running in the middle of winter. It doesn't matter because it's an all-weather surface. It doesn't matter whether it's raining, it won't have water over the track and all that sort of thing. So it'll be really, really well used. It's been a long time coming. I know all the groups are really excited about it and I can't wait to see that it starts being used. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I'll now go to Councillor Moore, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to talk about a couple of things. The Bunyip Recreation Reserve, the soccer cricket field redevelopment there has been a fantastic outcome for that community of Bunyip. What a great club. It's a great club, this soccer club, and the cricket can play on there as well. So it's a really well developed ground, the redevelopment, and of course they've established the new LED 100 lux lighting for the perimeter as well as a perimeter fence. So it all goes hand in hand. It's a beautiful reserve, Bunyip. So it's great to see they're actually just about using it now. So it's well on its way. And I would like to touch on I know Councillor Cameron did mention the Narnagoon Rec Reserve redevelopment, which is a really great result for that club. The ground is just magnificent. And it was opened on the 28th of April. I actually represented yourself to open the ground up, which I thought was great. And so the first game was there, and I actually went to have a look at it today to see how it held up with the rain and what conditions we had recently. And it's pretty good. It's holding up pretty well. So it's got a little bit way to go. These grounds just don't get redeveloped and then they're fantastic. They take a few years to establish and get right. So it's the improvement there's fantastic. It's just really good to see, the joint funding between council working together and the Victorian government, because that had a lot of effects of the bushfires from 2019 when Narnagoon Reserve was used as a staging venue for all the CFA vehicles and things. There was a bit of damage done there, so it didn't recover very well after that. So for the club's sake, if you're going to have one legacy that you may leave in all your life as a councillor, this might be it for me, because I think it's a fantastic result. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. I'll now go back to the mover, Councillor Owen, to sum up, please.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all councillors for your reports on this item. I have no further. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. That concludes discussion of the agenda items tonight. Councillors, are there any matters to report, please? Councillor Ryan.
I hope I've got it right this time, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, I've already wished Happy Mother's Day to everyone for yesterday. U3A, I went on site during the week and I joined in with the sewing group. I haven't been in front of a sewing machine for many years and it was a lot of fun. The group were really enthusiastic and it's all about learning to use the sewing machine and create something that's special that you can take home to use yourself or for a family member or relative as a gift. So that was really great. And I also visited the men's history group that were there as well. And a couple of the photos that I saw there were very old tankers from World War I, I believe. Really interesting to see the different sizes. That the starting one was a two-man one where it went into the giant size, and I think you can fit about 6 to 8 in the tanker now. So it was just interesting to listen to that history group, and they're all enthusiastic too, the gentlemen there, and it was lovely to meet up with them. Attended the Social and Affordable Housing Network meeting with Councillor Ross. This is an important meeting that we join every 2 months, I think, yeah. And we talk about the affordability within our community and working on ideas and what is important and where we go from here. So that's always productive, and we'll keep the community up to date continually, that we are onto it and we are aware that the concerns are housing for all age groups. The Pakenham CBD Railway Precinct Safety Committee meeting, we quite a few councillors, well, there's a couple of us councillors that attend that. That's a regular meeting, and that's interacting with VicPol as well, and our local community within Pakenham shopping environment. So we had some of the retailers join. We'd like to see a lot more retailers join in on this meeting, because it's really important, because we get a lot of feedback of what's happening in and around after hours when the retailers are locking up, and the police keep us up to date on that. So that's always a productive meeting. Of course, true, you've always got the coffee with the cops, so residents have got that opportunity to have those discussions with the VicPol when they go to the shopping centres. And the Pakenham Revitalisation Main Street, we went for a walk last Monday. It was freezing. We were all rugged up, and we went up and down the street and looked at what is the possibility in the near future. And I think residents were quite keen to see all the majority of us councillors out there with officers walking the streets. So we do a lot of physical work out there, and it's always nice to be seen, to have that conversation with residents and interact with them on that day. So that's all from me. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Any other councillors with matters to report? Councillor Cameron, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I attended the Lang Lang RSL Anzac Day dawn service this year, and it was an extremely emotional day. The turnout was amazing. I was really impressed with how many people turned up, and it was particularly significant. My grandfather is on the cenotaph at Lang Lang, so it was very significant. Lang Lang also had a town meeting in relation to trying to get their police station reopened, or some police presence in the town, and it was attended by the district commander from Dandenong and the inspector from Pakenham. Unfortunately, I was myself personally was quite disappointed on the outcome. I felt that we were being paid lip service by the department, and the community have decided that they will present a petition to be presented at the state government. So onward and upward, hopefully, for police presence in Lang Lang. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. I'll go to Councillor Ross. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I, like some of my fellow councillors, attended the citizenship ceremony at the Cardinia Cultural Centre. That's always a highlight. As a councillor, you get to see people's lives changed. They're already residents, most of them, of Cardinia Shire. They just want to become more part of the network that's here. They're so excited. They bring all their friends and family. They have pictures. It's a really a life-changing moment in their life and for them and their family. So that's always a really, really good thing to attend. And for anyone in the community that's never attended one, if you come along and have a look, you'll see the new residents. I think I worked out my time on council. I think I've seen over 10,000 people go through the citizenship ceremonies. So that's a whole lot of people to go through becoming new citizens. Over the last month, I attended the with some of my fellow councillors, the Pakenham Revitalisation site walk through the main street of Pakenham and through the railway sort of area to have a look at what's happening and what potentially can happen in the area, what the options are. So we had a really good briefing on that. On Anzac Day, I attended, because Councillor Cameron and different councillors have got that many things on, you just can't go everywhere. I attended the Cooey Up Dawn service down there with the gunfire breakfast. Every year, more people seem to turn up. It's really well attended, and it looks like families are taking along their younger people as well to make the commitment to get them in the vogue of realising what people did for us and how thankful we should be. I also attended the Gembrook Avenue of Honour walk. They have that at lunchtime, representing council. They shared with me how for years and years they've been trying to get more people involved, but unfortunately it's really tough in an RSL. They've got, I think, 6 new members, and these people are really active people, and they took over doing all the work up there, so they're rather excited. Really, really well run. I always make you feel welcome, and they have all the schools and the kinders and everybody turn up to the lunchtime one, because if they can't turn up to the dawn one, if they turn up for that, they do a really good job up there. Some of the committees, like my fellow councillors, I attended over the last month. We had one on the community safety policy, where basically we're online, so we got to add and listen to what the policy as it's formed, and to inject some of our own ideas and what the community feel should be included. I too attended, and I'm the chair of the Social and Affordable Housing Network. We're going to have, hopefully, be able to coordinate a visit for all the councillors and senior council management to visit Viv's place in Dandenong, as to do a tour. That's one of our goals, that we'd like them to see what bang you can get for your buck. And instead of doing little bits here and there and everywhere, you can do one big project, which will possibly, in Dandenong, I think they have 60 to 70 households under the one roof. And it's a really good way of doing it. You can put it in a really good place. It's all totally managed and controlled. So, and the people who go there absolutely thrive, those people. I also attended the Financial Wellbeing and Resilience Action Team. This is something where all different services and groups come together to discuss just how the residents of Cardinia Shire are going on a financial and wellbeing basis. And at the moment, it's really sad. They've got people turning up to get help at the moment with interest rates rising and the cost of living going up that they never saw in the past, who never thought they would ever go to visit places to ask for help, but they are asking for help. So that's something that we're aware of. We're doing what we can to advocate, trying to get services involved and promote them to come to our area if they're not here already, and trying to pass on our information to government to try and get them to put more money in to try and help out. So anyway, there's some of the things I've attended. I enjoy hearing what my fellow councillors are doing too, so I'll leave some time for them. Thank you, Mayor.
Sorry, thank you, Councillor Ross. I'll go to Councillor Moore, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll just touch on a few things. I also went to the Anzac Day services. I did 4, which is the Anzac Day dawn service at Narmagoon. You couldn't move there. The new development of that cenotaph is just magnificent. And in saying that, I must congratulate our staff for what they did to the cenotaphs. They were absolutely magnificent. Beautifully cut, and we did get a few comments come into council from some of the public, our residents, who made comment about how beautiful they've done a great job on the cenotaphs. So I went from there to Tynong, where I spoke about Paddy, the Australian Terrier who went to war in Gallipoli. That was an interesting story, and from there to Garfield and then to Bunyip. Was a big service in Bunyip, so there's a lot of people get involved in behind it, which is great to be involved. Of course, the Yakabu Festival was on the 29th and the 30th of April, and what a great event it was. There was no parade, and I know there was a bit of controversy about the parade not being there, and I apologise for council getting a bit of slack from that, because it wasn't council's fault really. We did everything possible we could. It's the insurances that was very difficult to get. So it's next year, I don't know what they'll do, but there are a few things in place that we might do a walking parade or something throughout the around the park, maybe have Mr. Yakabu in the middle of the park and around the park. Could be something that we can manage with the small dedicated team of that committee. They need to be congratulated, because it's a big job. It's a big festival to run. So I thought it was successful. I thought it was a great day, and night. The fireworks was the best I've ever seen. So And the only other thing I went to, which is a lot of other, but this is one other thing that was special, was the Vegetable Growers Forum at Cardinia, which was a great day at what they call it, Butler's Market Garden. What a great event that was, very well attended. All the vegetable growers and all the different fertilisers you can put on them and those type of things. It was a great display. There was tractors and all those sort of things there, just the usual type of market garden things there. And then it had a big finale finish at the Bunya Fall on the Thursday night. So they made me very welcome there. The committee there, Joy, particularly Joy Peterson, who did a really fantastic job. It was a really good, great event to have in our backyard. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Any other councillors? With Councillor Owen.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm enjoying councillor reports. I also attended Anzac services across sort of the weekend of Anzac Day or week. I attended Beaconsfield with the Mayor on Sunday and also at Officer with the Mayor, which was a great service, a massive service. It gets bigger and bigger each year, so well done to all involved. And also attended Upper Beaconsfield at 11 o'clock service, which was very emotional. So thanks to everyone involved. The last 4 weeks, we've seen a fantastic local exhibitions. The first one was Firestorm, which was the 40th anniversary of Ash Wednesday. This exhibition started off at Upper Beaconsfield during the Village Festival in February. And at the Village Festival, I've spoken to the organiser of this exhibition, Ian Pinney from Upper Beaconsfield Fire Brigade. He asked whether council could assist with exhibiting this in a bigger forum for a longer period at the Cardinia Cultural Centre. And since late February and to the start of this exhibition on the 20th of April, thanks to James Fisher from Council, he organised for this to be exhibited between the 20th of April to the 14th of May, and it closed yesterday. It was great to see this exhibition at the Cardinia Cultural Centre. So thanks to Ian Pinney and also Council for making this happen. It had obviously sort of memorabilia or photos or exhibits telling the story of that 40th anniversary, and it is still an emotional subject for many. So I acknowledge that. Also, there was the Gazette Art Gallery, which was in the old Gazette building in Main Street, Pakenham, between the 18th of April and the 14th of May. That was a great exhibition I went through there, and well done to the Cardinia Art Society. Obviously, it had a number of art sort of exhibited, but the strong theme of the history of the Pakenham Gazette and obviously the Thomas family. It was a really good exhibition. On the 26th of April, I went to the Upper Beaconsfield Community Centre AGM. Congratulations to Erin McGavin, who was re-elected to the presidency. Once again, we saw a great committee elected just over 12 months ago. There was real concerns that this committee may fold, and they run some fantastic childcare running out of that facility, and that was at risk 12 months ago if that committee wasn't elected. So thank you to the committee that has a strong committee that was just re-elected on the 26th of April. We had the Heritage Festival on Sunday the 7th of May at the Pakenham Hall. This festival was in conjunction with the Casey Cardinia Historical Group, reference group, and also the Casey Library, and also Miley, the new library service in Cardinia. So well done to all involved. That was a really good day. The Mayor and Councillor Kowalczyk and I attended the Tumuck Fire Brigade awards service sort of evening last Saturday. This event has been planned for close to 3 years, and COVID got in the way of that, and also a last minute venue change as well, which caused some concern, but it was really good. We saw a person, Mr. John Ferrari, acknowledged for his, I think, 40 years plus service, and also life member. So amazing, and a number of awards was given also on that night. Finally, I just want to talk about the officer community rooms just at Starling Road at the Officer Rec Reserve. They've got a project, a community-led project of building those community rooms. long history of these rooms. Council has a modest contribution to it, but they've advocated for federal and state funds, and they've now got a fundraising effort. They need to finish off the project, so they are calling upon the community to donate towards the final funding of these rooms. They've got tax deductible status, so if you donate a contribution, it is a tax deductible claim that you can make. But I just commend the Office of Rec Reserve and the group involved in that, because it is amazing. A great build, a community-led build, and I think we can learn from that, and hopefully we can sort of do other things where the community can get on board, fundraise, and deliver a great project by themselves. So I commend them. That's just one more. Sorry, Mayor. Sorry. May is the Red Shield appeal, and I was really honoured to be asked to be Cardinia's ambassador for the Red Shield appeal. Cardinia Shire has a really strong relationship with the Salvation Army. We do have a financial contribution each year towards relief, and council through the assistance, obviously through Salvation Army, supported 555 visits last year through the Pakenham Doorways program. So it is Red Shield Appeal Month. There is a digital online forum. It is a Pakenham dedicated website, so all the money raised via that website stays in Pakenham. So I encourage people, if they can, donate to that. Also, if you see the tin rattlers around the Cardinia, particularly around shopping centres and maybe Bunnings in the next 2 weekends, please donate to support the Red Shield appeal, because the money raised locally will go back to our community locally. So if you can support, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. Councillor Kowalczyk?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And I'm happy to go last tonight. As Councillor Owen said, it's always nice to hear what your fellow councillors are up to. You've already mentioned tonight, but National Volunteer Week, very, very exciting week for us, 15th to 21st of May. Big night on Thursday for us coming up. So very much looking forward to that. Thank you for mentioning the dinner that we went to, Councillor Owen, the 2 Mark Fire Brigade Presentation Awards. Well done to our 2 Mark Fire Brigade. We have some fantastic CFA members in our community, but it was very special to highlight those members. They have about 22 members, I think, 23 members up there, and they do a power of work, predominantly after hours, but thank you very much for their hospitality on Friday night. Most councillors had the opportunity to have a walkthrough of Main Street. A big thank you to Narelle and Kylie from our team. That was a great day, great presentation. And I do hope our community is excited about some potential future works to beautify and energise, our old town in the middle there. For Anzac Day, I attended Dandenong as per usual. I just want to thank John Wells, OAM, who is the outgoing president of Dandenong RSL after 10 years. John was previously on the committee with my grandfather when he was president there, and they were good mates before he died. So thank you very much to John, and as always did a fantastic job on that service. I was lucky enough to attend with the Mayor a great MND walk with Sonia Bolosky and Gavin Staindl to defeat MND, and was able to raise a lot of money. And despite the bad weather, we persevered. I brought my little son down as well in the pram, and it was a great day. The community of MND supporters down there, and some of the people who come down have MND themselves, and it's just such a together community. And it's pretty inspiring seeing that many people with the blue beanies on walk around Lakeside for a couple of laps, and it's always a really, really great day. Councillor Ross mentioned our upcoming community safety policy, which I know Councillor Moore had attended the first session. Councillor Ross and I attended the second session. That's really exciting, and even though it's some time away, I want everyone to look out for that and make sure you provide feedback when you're given the opportunity to do so, because that's exciting. And of course, you mentioned the financial wellbeing and resilience team. Obviously, at this current moment in time, when the cost of living pressures are impacting our community so much, even though you may not think it's necessarily in the remit of council, advocacy certainly is. And it was interesting to note from that meeting that our greater southeast region, of which we're part of, Casey, Cardinia and Dandenong, We get federally funded for 9 services and only one of those has a presence in Cardinia. So when we talk about the impacts of financial vulnerability on our residents, I think it's pretty safe to say that we as a municipality are disproportionately affected. And I think that's why that work's so very important. But I'll leave it there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, councillors. Thank you for your reports. I appreciate that. Are there any councillors with petitions? I see none. Thank you. Councillor Cameron, you have lodged a notice of motion for consideration. Can you move your motion, please?
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the Western Port Bay Strategic Framework, that Council supports the strategic framework for the future of Western Port Bay as a formal document advocating for the restoration and protection of the marine environment and surrounding catchment of Western Port to establish an ecologically sustainable and thriving economy for the future. That Council writes to the Minister for Environment and the Minister for Climate Action, Energy and Resource to request recognition for Western Port, its bay and surrounding catchment areas, including the Biosphere Reserve, the Ramsar wetlands, as an important environment, social and economic region, and a public commitment to protect it for those who reside, work and visit. Delivery of a strategic plan and dedicated fund for Western Port that restores and protects the marine life environment and continues to provide a sustainable, thriving economy for the future. That the Department of Energy, Environment and Climate Action establish a new collaborative membership partnership with traditional owners, Melbourne Water and other key stakeholders, including community and other bay users under the Marine and Coastal Act 2018 and the State Environment Protection Policy Waters 2018 to protect and manage the bay's environmental values. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I please call for a seconder? Councillor Ross, thank you. I'll go back to the mover, Councillor Cameron to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Ross. Western Port Bay is a unique region and an important natural system for the Victorian coast. Over the past 200 years, Western Port has experienced substantial change, including extensive clearing of the catchment and coastal vegetation, drainage of large areas of swampland and progressive agriculture, industrial and urban development. Given the close connection between the health of the catchment and the health of the bay, dramatic changes such as these are putting considerable pressure on the marine and coastal environment. The State of Marine and Coastal Environment 2021 report prepared by the Victorian Commissioner for Environment Sustainability found a decline in many indicators for Western Port. 5 of the 9 estuaries flowing into Western Port were assessed for water quality in the 2021 index and received a very poor rating. Despite these pressures, the marine and coastal environment continues to support many unique flora and fauna. Its environment is characterised by a variety of important habitats. The Western Port Ramsar Site Management Plan, prepared by Parks Victoria, establishes the framework for the maintenance of Western Port's ecological character through conservation and restoration. In addition to this, as highlighted by the State Marine and Coastal Environment 2021 report and other various studies, there is a need for a long-term strategic framework that identifies the bay and surrounds as one living and integrated natural entity for protection. With the current lack of single catchment-based government organisation to strategically manage Port Phillip and Western Port, the intent of the strategic framework is to summarise in the in documents that were provided and coordinate an approach to all existing programs and manage tools for Western Port with clear roles and responsibility, in particular that of the traditional owner groups, local communities and local government. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. I'll now go to the seconder, Councillor Ross, to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Cameron, for moving this motion. This is to basically ensure that the group tries to access more money to keep them viable and keep going. For those who don't understand what this group's about, on my time on council, from time to time, we need to fill in for each other, and some of the delegates on different groups, like the Western Port Biosphere Committee as a delegate, can't attend for whatever reason. So I've been down there a few times. What it is the United Nations recognise unique environmental areas with great value, which are very, very unique, which cannot be replicated, and if lost, will be lost forever, because you just can't mix the biodiversity in these areas. And what this group does is it has a plan, it speaks on behalf of that space, and it makes government aware of this space, and the United Nations recognise it. And there's different areas around the world which have these unique environmental design to them. We need to protect these for our future generations so that won't be lost forever, because once they're lost, you can never get them back. So I do support this. I hope my fellow councillors will too. And I hope they get enough money to keep running, because otherwise, who speaks on behalf of the environment if you're not aware of it? Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. I'll go to Councillor Kowaczyk.
Thank you, Mayor Radford. Thanks, Councillor Cameron, for your notice of motion. I mentioned earlier on just before, that advocacy is key to our role, and so I congratulate Councillor Cameron for working closely with this group. And as it mentions in the reasoning behind the motion, that advocacy is crucial for some of these bigger projects. It can't be council-led. And so despite the fact that this council will be supporting it, I hope we need the support of some of those bigger organisations. So well done, Councillor Cameron. I hope this gets up tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kowaczyk. Any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to the mover. Councillor Cameron, please.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, my fellow councillors, for your support. This notice of motion is as a result of my role as a delegate on the Western Port Biosphere Foundation, together with all member councils, inclusive of Casey, Mornington Peninsula, Cardinia and Bass Coast. These councils will join this incredibly significant environment and are supportive in a united approach to the protection of Western Port Bay. This notice of motion seeks to encourage the state government to commence with a strategic framework to protect this internationally recognised waterway. Western Port Bay is recognised by the United Nations as a biosphere reserve and the International Ramsar Convention for Wetland Conservation. It's imperative that all local governments are joining it are provided with an overarching plan that provides the vision and direction for community and government, ensuring management is conducted in a way that protects it for the future generations.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. We will now put this to a vote. All those in favour? I declare that carried unanimously. Thank you. Tonight we have received 2 questions from Rosa Santo, and I see Rosa is in the gallery tonight. I will refer your questions to the Acting General Manager, Governance, Facilities and Economy, Owen Hardage, to read and answer. Thank you, Owen.
Thank you, Ms Santo, for your questions. The first question reads, an issue with Council Live online meeting coverage. Since changes to council cameras for online meetings to the public, there is a delay in receiving live coverage. There is lots of static during the coverage. The community is not able to see how councillors are voting for or against the motion, as cameras showing councillors' hands raised in voting. Council is always stating that you are transparent. This isn't being transparent in the eyes of the community if you are not able to see each councillor's hand raised during decision time. In answer to that, we reply, since September 2022, Council has used Microsoft Teams Live as a solution to provide a live stream of the Council meetings. This solution uses cameras that are permanently affixed in the Council chambers and was chosen in preference to the more expensive multiple camera and operator solutions that were previously used by Council during COVID. Council officers are satisfied that the streaming of the meeting complies with the Local Government Act and all applicable governance laws. However, we welcome any feedback from the community about the streaming service. Council IT staff have not previously been advised of technical issues with the live feed, and if users report interruptions to the stream, such as static, etc., we can troubleshoot such issues. Regarding the camera angles, we will review the operation of the cameras, including the automation of movement and views. However, the cameras have technical limitations and any alternative broadcast options would be implemented at significant cost. A copy of that response, a written response, will be provided to you after the meeting. The second question, also from Ms. Santo, and also thank you for this question, reads, Pakenham outdoor pool mural artwork. Is the artwork on the fence completed? Who made the final selection of the artist, and what was the total cost of the completed work? In answer to that, the reply is in 2021, funding was made available to deliver a public art project with the intention of disguising the pool plant area behind the fence at the Pakenham outdoor pool. An initial expression of interest was open in late 2021, although issues relating to the structural integrity of the fence resulted in immediate works and the need to vary the scope of the project. A revised expression of interest was conducted in September 2022, with 4 applications received, and the selected artist submissions were chosen by council officers representing the arts, parks planning and building and facilities business units. Community engagement for this project consisted of a day at the Pakenham outdoor pool, engagement through social media and various targeted groups seeking memories associated with public outdoor swimming pools to incorporate into the artwork. The artist took the community feedback on board and developed a concept design to be printed on mesh and adhered to the fence as part of the project brief. The artwork is complete, but council is currently considering minor landscaping to complement the artwork. The total cost of the completed work was $16,500, including GST, with $5,000 spent on fence repair work. A copy, written response will be provided.
No, there's no further questions. You can submit questions for next meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Owen. Finally, I just wanted to acknowledge that this week is National Volunteer Week. We've had a lot of discussions tonight on Anzac Days, the CFAs, our SES, all of our sporting organisations, they all rely on volunteers, and we have some amazing volunteers within Cardinia Shire. So I just really wanted to acknowledge you all and say thank you. Thank you for getting involved. Thank you for everything that you do. And thank you for making a difference. And I know that there's some of our amazing volunteers here tonight in the gallery. Before closing the meeting, I advise that the Town Planning Committee meeting scheduled for Monday, June 5 will not be held as there are no planning applications that require the committee's deliberation. So I'd like to thank our councillors tonight for participating, our council officers, the gallery for joining us tonight, and those viewing online. Thank you, and I now declare the meeting closed.